Hey guys, back for another installment of the Power of Positive Thinking. This is getting a lot of material out of this book. Anyway, so if you're new to this, I read a book a few months ago called The Power of Positive Thinking by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, and found it very helpful for how to structure your thoughts, which end up becoming your life, right? Because whatever you think about determines what you do, and what you do determines what results you get in life. So there's so much actionable advice in this book, it's kind of overwhelming. So what I've been doing is every single week, usually on Monday, I've been going over one particular habit that's described in this book, and I've been making it a priority for myself for the rest of the week to follow that habit, and I decided I would share that with you guys over these live videos. So this week, well, let me just read the passage for you, and then I'll talk about it a little bit and talk about exactly what I plan to do over the week. "Why does my boy fail in every job he gets?" asked a puzzled father about his 30-year-old son. It was indeed difficult to understand the failure of this young man, for seemingly he had everything. Of good family, his educational and business opportunities were beyond the average. Nevertheless, he had a tragic flair for failure. Everything he touched went wrong. He tried hard enough, yet somehow he missed success. Presently he found an answer, a curiously simple but potent answer. After practicing this newfound secret for a while, he lost the flair for failure and acquired the touch of success. His personality began to focus, his powers to fuse. Not long ago, at luncheon, I could not help admiring this dynamic man at the height of his power. "You amaze me," I commented. "A few years ago, you were failing at everything. Now you have worked up an original idea into a fine business. You are a leader in your community. Please explain this remarkable change in you." "Really, it was quite simple," he replied. "I merely learned the magic of believing. I discovered that if you expect the worst, you will get the worst. And if you expect the best, you will get the best." It all happened through actually practicing a verse from the Bible. And what is that verse? "If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth." Mark 9:23. So that's what I wanted to go over for this week, and I think this is so extremely powerful, especially this one sentence. I discovered that if you expect the worst, you will get the worst, and if you expect the best, you will get the best. I think a lot of us have this tendency where whenever we're trying to do something, we imagine ourselves failing, and we replay the scene in our minds over and over and over again of us failing and of it turning out wrong and nothing, and maybe worse than failure. Maybe we even imagine our lives being worse as a result. Maybe we imagine us starting a business and it fails and nobody buys our product and we end up broke and in debt and living on the street, and our lovers leave us, and everything bad that could possibly happen goes wrong. That's the things that a lot of us tend to imagine in our minds. And because of that, we sabotage our results. So what I want to suggest for this week is that whenever we try to do something, we consciously envision the best. So if we recognize this consciousness, this intention is really important. That if we recognize that we are envisioning poor outcome, we're envisioning failure, we're envisioning something bad happening in the future, we recognize that we are doing this, we intentionally stop envisioning this negative future and instead replace it with a positive one. So if I'm going to start something new, in my knee-jerk reaction is to imagine all the ways that it could fail. Instead of doing that, I'm gonna stop doing that, and I'm gonna start consciously, intentionally putting an image in my mind of what it would look like succeeding. And I'm going to do that for everything that I try to do over the next week. And in fact, I'm going to make an intention of even if I'm not tending to envision failure, if I want to make an intention of anything that I try to do that's somewhat difficult, I want to envision myself succeeding. And I believe that works on a metaphysical level, that if you envision yourself succeeding, then you are drawing things to you magnetically. It's a sort of law of the universe that we don't really understand very well. If you look at my latest video, the thing about Abraham Hicks, I go into detail about that. But also it works. You don't need such a kind of woo-woo metaphysical sort of explanation to explain this. If you can, there's like a much more kind of down-to-earth explanation too, which works just as well, and that is that if you have this image in your mind of yourself succeeding, then you're just going to have more energy. You're going to be more into it. You're going to put a higher quality of work into whatever it is that you are attempting to do, because you have this positive emotion about it. Whereas if you're envisioning yourself failing, you're going to be filling yourself with a whole bunch of negative emotions, and you're not going to be able to put the energy into it. If you have to deal with people, you're probably going to push away all of those people, and you're not going to put the same quality of the high quality of work into it than you otherwise would. Right? So there's a lot of different levels that this same principle works on. So that's my challenge to myself and to anybody who's watching this, is get rid of the envisioning failure and start envisioning success consciously, intentionally. So that's it. You guys have a great week, and I'll see you next Monday.